Hey everybody, welcome back to the ECS Hangout. This is the time to shine for all the car people out there. We talk about all the different car topics and things of that nature. Remember, this is the ECS Hangout, so you can go over to ecsmagazine.com. You can see us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, all those major social media platforms. As always, we are sponsored by controlfreakcompany.com. And so we're just gonna start right. But we do have a topic today: how car shows should and should not be judged, which I think is a huge topic, and it's something that we rolled into for last weekend. So we're just going to continue that topic. But before we start, I want to introduce everybody. As always, my name is Primo, and I am I'm going to call it a moderator. This is an open talk forum, so everybody here can have a conversation. It's not just me coming in and asking all the questions. I love it when our panel starts talking on their own. And the other great thing about this is you have a little chat area over there or in a comment section, depending on if you're in YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may be. Make sure you put a comment in there. If you have a question, something that you want to give input to, we're happy to bring it up while we're having our discussion. So without further delay, Reggie is actually here. He is behind the scenes at the moment. But yeah, he is still available. So I'm going to say hello for him, the Lord of ECS Magazine. And next up will be Joel. Joel, say hi. Tell everybody what you're about.
Hi, my name is Joel, and I'm part of NewEnglandAutoshows.com, the coolest website for finding car shows.
You actually really helped me out today, too, because we had that big question about what's going on the weekend. And all of a sudden, here comes Joel. Boom. He's like, all the stuff and then everybody's tagging you up and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Right. So is it lower left for everybody's viewing? Is that the Sophia box? That's your box right there, the lower left, right?
Yeah, I'm lower left.
Oh, cool. I never know if I'm looking at the screen in reverse. But anyway, introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're all about.
Oh gosh, where would I begin? My name is Sophia Corn. Am I talking about the car side of things?
You can talk about anything you want.
Well, I drive a 2014 Dodge Challenger RT. I take a drag away. I go to car shows. I own a company. I've done the Stripes car. I do the police cruisers and cosplay. Dress as Harley Quinn. Go to Comic-Cons.
And I think pretty much most people know you for the basically the cosplay side of it, correct?
It's like a good mix of my car, me.
Yeah, it's the thing is that we knew when you came on, everybody's like, who was it? It was like everybody knew who you were. So that's a good thing, right? Okay, and our last guest tonight, who is not brand new to the show, Chris, say hello to everybody and tell everybody what you're about.
Yep. Can you guys hear me okay? I thought I was breaking up before. Sorry.
No, you were breaking up, so yeah, go ahead.
I can hear you, yeah.
You're good. Go ahead. Give it a try. Take a chance.
Like my coffee.
Yeah, it's dropping hard.
My name is Chris. I am from the... Yeah, it's dropping.
Yeah.
Still dropping?
Yeah. No. Well, just go ahead and roll off your name and your info real quick, and we'll get what we can. How's that?
Yeah, name is Chris. I am from the Ruined Car Club, one of the founding members, Low Ride Car Club. I also I build cars for a living. As this one behind me, and glad to join.
Yeah, well, I like the idea that somebody actually showed up with a car in the back. That is definitely getting plus aces for the show tonight. So the first person to comment in our area over here today is Tyler Harriman, which is hello to everyone. Hello, Tyler. Good to see you out tonight. And then ZP's in. Let's go, Reggie. Such a personality. So Reggie, as you can see, already wrote in here. Yep, I'm here, so you know he's here. But I think before we get started on a topic tonight, I think there was actually a really cool topic that happened over the weekend by a guy by the name of Ross Chastain, who decided to use NASCAR 2005 video game tactics to put himself in the championship. Joel, I believe you actually have some footage for that, correct?
I do.
Oh, good. Can we zoom that in and put that up there and press bad boy?
Oh, I don't know if I can zoom it, but we can actually see.
There you go. If I'd like to get it, there we go. Full screen it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Rewind that again and then play it again.
We'll go back a little bit here.
There you go.
So I think he started about here, right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Lower left, Ross, the man. Actually, I feel like I pioneered this move in iRacing.
Dude, I think we all did at some point.
If you can't steer it and you haven't figured out how to set up your, if you haven't figured out how to set up your handling, just use the wall, baby.
Just use the wall.
I mean, it's straight, right? It's
right.
It's fine. Everybody else has done it, right?
This is the turn right here, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
there he goes.
Look at that.
Goes right out, and he just goes, yeah, I'm gonna just pass any handling. Hi, how are you? Bye, right?
So crazy enough. Now, this is, like I said, anybody that's ever played a video game before has seen this move before. Just ride the wall into victory. And he had gone from being out of the race, from being like in 5th position, to beating Denny Hamlin to put himself 2nd in points. And you know what? That whole thing, the whole concept of points and all that stuff is just mute to the idea that he decided to use the wall as a right.
I mean,
and then at the end of it, during the interview, he even goes GameStop GameCube 2005 NASCAR. That's where I learned that.
Oh my God. And it's like, and it works. And I think there was even, I don't remember who did it, but I want to say it was MSNBC. They actually did a whole, there's actually physics involved on why it worked.
Right.
And I'm like, that's just insanity that we're going that far and to figure out, that win kind of thing. But
well, what gets me even more, which I find hilarious, Sam Meet You, how's everyone today? We're doing great, buddy. Good to see you. We're actually talking about the Ross Chastain move. But what I think is really funny, and this is what somebody said afterwards, was, oh yeah, NASCAR's immediately going to make a rule to make sure that's not something you can do in the future. And funny enough, they have made no rule. They have changed nothing on it. They're going into this next race with I think the championship for the last 3 here. And basically the idea of doing this over and over again, I think that's the point, is that it would get very costly. You can really only do it in the last turn. I think the technique is specifically a Martinsville thing. And the reality is it could have gone really, really badly. So, but I just think it's great that we're going to go into this race with everybody saying, here's the big championship move. Here's the big power move. Let's go for glory. And I mean, don't you think that's the real thing to it?
Oh, hands down. Do you think he actually said do it for Dale when he did it?
Listening to the in-car, I didn't hear it, but I'm wondering if there was something you know what I mean? Like maybe we didn't hear it or the mic was off when he did it, but he just was like, you know what? Let's just send it. And that's the thing is, I know for a fact, I don't know who it was that said it, but somebody said
he did say, I'm just gonna I just follow through with it and just and commit. And if you're gonna pull a move like that, you might as well fully 1,000% commit.
So Rebound Auto Show, how would I get on this? Reggie is already probably looking at you, and he will probably be sending you over. It's a potential link so you can come on to the show. And it looks like we had. Did somebody else join while I was not looking?
Yes.
Is that they're not moving though, so I'm guessing the connection is bad.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, when they're able to talk, I think we might even lost Chris too. So, but yeah. So tonight's topic, we're talking about how car shows should and should not be judged. So I definitely wanted to start with that topic alone. And you know what? I think this is something that Joel, that you had brought up, and you were in the last show where we really had a lot of discussion about it. So how would you like to start the night of saying, some certain things and techniques and maybe some stuff you've seen that's bad, some of the stuff that you've seen is good. And remember, everybody in the topic section, in the comment sections, put some stuff up that you've seen that you think that these are ways that car shows, and remember, everything I want to see it. It's got to be constructive, or we're not going to talk about it. Everything we do is, there's no name calling here, none of that kind of stuff. If you have an example, don't bring people's names into it. Just say, hey, this is stuff that I ran into before, and this is good. And if it is something that's good and it's positive and you want to commend somebody for it, definitely don't feel free to name names and drop titles and all that other stuff. But yeah, I want to make sure that tonight remains constructive. So, and I believe we have, oh, there you go. And who is this that has joined us today? Introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're all about. Can you hear us? The connection is great. All right, Joel, you go ahead and start your thing on it, and then we'll.
So, I mean, listen. There's two styles of like doing judging, where like there's a points based judging system, and then there's the like no style of judging.
Right.
Right. You know, it's kind of like, you know,
you go ahead and start your thing.
Which one do you want? Like, how do you want to do it? That type of thing. But I will say that, like, you know, how not to do it is if you're sometimes I've seen situations where
we get hold on before we start going here. We have an echo here, and I'm just gonna let's just, anybody that's going to echo or have any problems with them, you know, let's just we do that testing earlier. Go ahead, Joel.
So I think it's one of those situations where when sometimes you get you'll get like a guest judge who sometimes is part of like a custom shop or something like that, where they're actually gonna like they're kind of judging like work that they do, not so much work that's like genuinely done by like even the person themselves, but they're saying that person didn't do it themselves, kind of thing, or, you know, another, you know, they paid to do it, kind of thing. So they're actually putting like a mindset in that's not really relevant to the work itself. You're not judging the owner. You're not judging necessarily who did the work. You're judging the car and the work that is done, right? You're not you're not taking the person into account. You're actually taking like the actual final product. Type of thing. And I think that's the biggest mistake that I've seen sometimes, is that, you know, I mean, you can't say that you've never seen any kind of favoritism. Like if Boyd Coddington had showed up like 10 years ago, 15 years ago with one of his machines, and somebody was like going, oh, that guy's legendary, his car wins. It's like, no, it doesn't. Because there is, you know, there is other stuff that's out there, and there's other work that's been done, kind of thing. And I think that's a big part of it. I will say, like, my most favorite judging is actually when it's done like as a people's choice, because then you get like a true temperature gauge of what people like. I'm
really torn on the people's choice thing, and the reason
I know, because it can go really bad or it can go really good.
Well, the other thing is
no in between.
It can be loaded too. You can say, okay, well, it's people's choice, and then you go, oh, we brought our whole club out, and there's 27 guys in it, and those 27 guys just picked their friend. That can be an issue. The other thing is it's more, I do like the idea of having somebody that knows their salt, if you will. Do you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, you get where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah. But I also think that, well, and that's why it should be its own like trophy session. It's, you know, that shouldn't be, you know, or its own class, I guess, kind of thing. You know, that it shouldn't be like the end all be all decision of like an entire car show.
Right. So before we move on to Sophia, I want to introduce the two people that came in first in the middle and the bottom there. If you could say hello and tell everybody your name and what you're about.
Mike Pilgreen. Now I'm doing a show called Rebound Auto Show. Been promoting car shows since 1994. Oriented. So with my car club, we did a bunch of shows, and then we actually started my magazine. So we did tons and tons of shows. Actually, in the background on that banner back there is a list of every show we've done. It's about 300,000 miles and 663 events. So it's you know, we've been kind of around the shows, and I was really interested in this because judging is something that my brother and I have always kind of and you know, just my little intro blurb is that they're right and wrong way to judge. It just depends on what crowd you're with, and
that works for me. Well, we're gonna be moving over to Sophia, and then we'll go around the circle here, and we'll get back to you so you can give some good input. But lower right there, somebody joined in. I think this is your second week back. So if you could introduce everybody and say tell everybody what you're about. Yeah, I don't think you can hear me.
I'm with.
I'm sorry.
Car Club. He's taught me a lot of things. 3-4 show vehicles, and I've been showing since the 90s.
All right. So I think we got everybody that's in so far. Let's leave it at that 6 count there. So Sophia, go ahead and give us your input on the things that you've learned from a car show, the things that you see that are bad. Give us any input you got there.
Okay. Real quick though, why was my picture just at the dragway?
Oh, that's Joel. Joel likes to do things cool, like go to people's Instagrams and share all the pictures to the world. I hope you don't take that personal, do you?
Post it for everybody to see, so no worries.
That just freaked her out though, like that Joel just stalked her.
Pictures. Why are they stalking me on the show? Yeah, everybody gets used to it sooner or later. It's okay. What is your Instagram, by the way, if people want to follow you?
Sophia Cormier. So it's a PH. Sophia Cormier.
Got it. All right. So what do you have on inputs for shows?
Oh my god. The one thing that I get confused with is when like vehicles, they categorize modified and a lot of shows, and I think it causes conflict because there's a difference between like stock, custom, and a lot of the times when people modify their cars, they put them into their cars, and they got put up next to custom, which is like decal. So when those two categories are put together, and someone would say, and someone who's clearly modified and spent way more time and money on it should be separate, like custom.
I think a lot of people in this group know it as mild versus wild kind of thing. Would that be kind of accurate?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Stock, but it's not modified either. Like custom is like in the middle, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And that's the thing is one thing that you do is cosplay. And I noticed that no matter what show I go to, even I drive a Hyundai, so there is never a Korean area. I'm pretty sure you go to shows and there's no cosplay section either, right?
No, but actually, David Morgan, I saw he was on your show.
He's on here all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so. I think he's trying to like intertwine cosplayers come out to car shows, or like taking pictures, or just a whole nother dynamic. So I think it'd be awesome. I would love to just have cosplayers act.
Yeah, I think, and the thing is new categories and new support in areas is never bad. John Joe actually says bring back mild and wild. So yeah, so you can already see they totally, I think, agree with what you're saying there. And like you said, more categories doesn't hurt anybody. So Chris, what do you have for your input on what you see at car shows and what you like to see improve?
I guess if you're going to throw a car show, I think you should know being clear about who you're inviting and then planning for those categories. And then being really. So if you're going to have, an import specific category or lower rider specific or 4x4 or whatever the genre is, make sure and then you have people who can judge those genres appropriately so that there is, a fair judging for that specific genre where, I see a lot of times where it'll be, best engine, and there's 400 cars there. It's like, well, there's a lot of great engines there, and it's across many genres. But if I'm not, versed in, Honda VTECs, but I'm really into big block Chevys, I'm going to probably lean towards big block Chevy because I know more about it. So I think it's really knowing your audience or inviting the correct audience and then preparing for that so that it is a fair.
How about this wording? How would you like this better? And I think this is a good way that I've seen it kind of determined. That makes a lot of sense. Is the problem with I see a lot of shows with judging, and the reason that I think people get confused the most is because the judging never has the reason or the way we're judging. There's never a time when the scorecard is available to those that are at the show. So somebody will say best engine, and they'll say, what is best engine? And if there was a little bit of conciseness about being transparent about how that was judged, I think a lot of people would be more apt to compete in that class. So if you said, look, best engine is just the biggest engine possible, so V8s and V10s and V12s are going to win, versus saying the four cylinders don't get as much love, then people who were four cylinders wouldn't compete, or they would not, they would know what to expect. And I think a lot of times with shows, especially when I hear people complain, I didn't get a trophy, it usually is because they expected something, and that's usually in some of the wording or something that was done.
Yeah,
look, Mike looks like he's chomping at the bit here.
I think we had a conversation a couple weeks ago about being with your car when it comes time to judging, right? Because let's be honest, you could have a junkyard small block Chevy drizzled in chrome and it looks fantastic, but you could have something that's flat black with $20,000 worth of the internals that you can't see, right? One is visually appealing, the other one is like a great owner, but having
go ahead.
The owner there to describe it is key.
That's big. Yeah. And John Jones just added to that too. When it comes to judging, why don't shows explain why or how they judge? And I can't agree with him more on that. And I think that's something that a lot of places could learn to, what is it? ECS is saying, Chris, Mike breaking up. You're a little bit choppy. So, but yeah, I think that's one of the problems we have with the system. And I had this last week happen was, a lot of places are improving their connectivity. They're going through a lot of things to protect people from being, data is huge for everybody. So what's running into, I think, with our systems here is that people are connecting, but the systems that we have in place are kind of preventing us from basically connecting back and forth. So even if you allow it, it tries to slow the process down to try to figure out the data. And sometimes when it comes to a live stream, that kind of put some dampeners on it. So, but yeah, it's something that's going to be something we have to work out, and we're doing a great job of working around it. Now, I'm really looking forward to Mike has been ready to get his. He's got. I think your 2 cents is now up to like 50 cents to $1, right?
No doubt, absolutely. So, she had a lot of really good points to what she was saying about a stock vehicle. Really, it's really difficult to judge those two beside each other, especially if you're talking Bel Air that's stock, and then you're judging beside a 94 car that has a ton of suspension work and engine work done. It's very difficult, and if you have a car class, then those two cars are going to compete against each other, and if that's all. But what she was saying is in the 90s, we used to have what we called modified, mild, and modified was a class that was very basic. Like, if you and had some back in the 90s, splatter paint, was great, right? You would do a splatter paint and tinted windows, you'd be in modified. But the minute you lowered your car, go to a mild class, and then if you started shaving door handles and doing your full interior and engine out, so it was splitting the genres 3 different ways. The issue is when we did those classes like that, we had 300 to 400, and we had 800 to 1,000 show vehicles showing every time we did it. So to a promoter or anybody that has to fund this, has to put the money up for it, specific on how you're doing your trophies. Trophies are one of the most show. So a lot of times people have to group in way more vehicles alone competing together because of finances. So the modified mild and wild thing was really something I wanted. So old school. A lot of guys might not have ever even seen a car show that way. And it's like the best engine thing. So that is just like what I said. When you win a trophy, you are winning the opinion of an organization, car club, or of whoever's putting that car show on. If you go to World of Wheels, some of these big mecha shows, good guys and stuff like that, they're just so. I've never been a part of a car show or promoted a car show. We will get on the ground and look at undercarriage, but we're not judging like so specific like the Riddler Award. I mean, those guys are being judged on their cars, so it's just a different way of judging. And I think that's really difficult for everybody to understand because it really is an opinion. It's an opinion of who judging you.
And if you had anything that you would look at, I mean, because obviously you've been, I'm guessing, to tons of shows on top of the stuff that you've actually run too. If you saw one thing at a show and you said, you know what, that needs to be improved, I always see it happen over and over again, what would be that one thing?
I think just jumping on the ship, man. There's so many people that has vertical doors on their car, and they feel like that vertical doors is what every vehicle. In my view, and the long time, I like to think of a person's vehicle as their expression of, like, a lot of people jump on the ship because they see somebody else doing it and it's trying to get cool. I really feel like that it's a flavor thing. When I build a car, like, I build it the way I want it to be built. I don't build it to win a trophy. I don't build it for somebody else. And I think that's what I love so much about our scene is that everybody gets to express themselves the way that they would like to customize it.
Cool. All right. Before we move over to the comments real quick, I just want to introduce our new guest, Vinny. If you can say hello to everybody and tell them what you're all about, buddy.
Hey, first off, can you guys hear me? Because I'm running some new equipment. So
that sounds great.
Actually, all right, cool.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I'm trying out the new shotgun mic. So
nice.
Vinny from Creeps Car Club, also from a page or a YouTube channel I haven't gotten off the ground yet.
It's getting close.
It's getting there.
Right.
I'm kind of dragging my feet a little bit. Probably end up breaking out next year at this point. But while I collect more and more new equipment.
Yeah.
It's just here to hang out, I guess. Yeah.
That, by the way, that new equipment thing, that doesn't ever end, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's gonna come
a camera equipment.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna look it over and be like, oh yeah, that new thing. Let me do that. You know what? I just figured out the other day because we cover car shows doing our podcast. And I just realized that the software we have will actually connect Bluetooth wise. So I'm like, now I can have people like on the scene reporters in the car show doing stuff, and we can switch over to them and they can talk. I was like, I am so I cannot wait to test this out. But anyway, so we have some comments out there being part was Facebook user doesn't have a name, being part of the modern muscle in quotations crowd is tough at a lot of shows where the classics clearly will take the attention and the awards even when they're stock. And that is a great comment or input. That's the thing about old cars that makes things very difficult, is because anytime anybody has a old car that they've restored or has the great look to them, it becomes very difficult whether they have any work at all or something with matching numbers can win a show.
I honestly believe that when you show up to like an all makes, models, years car show, and as soon as that 1930s Packard mint condition shows up, it's like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
It's like
the worst. I'll tell you, it was funny because I was asking Mike about what the biggest thing is, and I'll tell you, if there's one thing that'll shoot you in the foot really hard, is showing up to a car show and being. It can be both the mistake of the event vendor, and it can be sometimes your own mistake because you're not paying attention, but you get classed in the wrong space. And once you're in the wrong competition, you definitely are going to lose if the judges are worth their salt. But
that's hard too, and that's kind of where I kind of say that some of these car shows, they just have too many classes.
I can see where that,
yeah, and then it becomes harder for the judges themselves to start keeping track of like what classes they're actually judging in, and
but I think that's the thing is if a show is done well, I really don't think the size matters. And that, but obviously, as people grow, they're going to grow into the size of their car show. If the car show continues to be powerful, I mean, we usually have Javier on him here, and I would love to have him on at one time talk about what it's like to be in his infancy, then moving up to being in a DCU center. Now he's got two big locations or more. Like that growth thing cannot be easy, but he's done an excellent job of keeping up with the people that judge his show. I've never had a time where I went to a show and said somebody didn't get the trophy that they deserve. But the other thing too is that he niches his thing. He says these are the people that are going to show up and these are going to compete, and this is what we can expect, and it's very transparent. So, but John Jones says, "Man, I know these categories. My age is starting to show." And then Trisha events just give everybody one. Yeah, we're not doing that. John Jones built for you and no one else. And then I'm going to pronounce this long. Laguagua Mopar. How about some of the bigger shows doing prejudging based on the photos entered when the registry? Okay, there's one problem. If anybody here has any input on this, you can help me with this. But I just have a problem with the pre-show picture stuff. And the reason is because I do pre-registered events. People send me pictures of the cars and then they show up and it's not the car that they pictured, or the quality is like, oh, it just got an fender bender. It has a new salvage title, but hey, looked great in the picture, didn't it? But yeah. And then Dustin, not everyone needs an award, and best of show is best of everything, really.
But honestly though, like, you know, the pre-doing like a pictures of something like that, those are the kind of things that I expect to happen at like a Concours event. So that's a curated event, right?
You trust everybody that's showing up,
right. And where you know sometimes I see like, you know, people are like, you know, send a picture of your car, and it's like, you know, you look at what they're expecting, and it's kind of like, I actually have to, like, you know, prove that my car is worthy for this, you know, like, you know, right. You're not Greenwich, you know, Connecticut, you know, that's not the scene kind of thing. So, but I mean, I also get it too, where sometimes you have like, sometimes when you have like indoor venues, you know, they do have to curate like what is going to come in and make sure that like
nothing wrong with it.
And I totally get that, but
and shows are leaning more towards that.
Look at that cat
being curated. Oh, look at El Gato. Hey, what's up, buddy?
El Gato.
All right. So I was gonna have Alan come up and say his thing next, but he dropped off. So Vinny, you are up, and Vinny, you've had history both in being running a car show, I believe, judging a car show, as well as being a rabid attendant of car shows. What is some input that you can give to some of these guys that want to be but you know, want to make it to that next level?
Well, the whole I've never judged other than a club. We've done club pick and stuff like that, but our show, we don't judge. We just step back from that. We actually do pair judging. When you bring your car in, you get the slip and you vote for your car in the certain class that you want to win. So I've honestly never really judged a car show other than going around and saying, yeah, I like that one, pretty tastefully done. So that was my vote for club pick.
Oh, I've judged, but I've never actually like judged.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The whole no. So I've never done that, but our show is like I said, peer judged. So when you enter your car in, you get the slip. It's got all the classes on it. Then every car is numbered with their slip. So you just write down the number of the car you like in that class.
Nice. That's
It
Joel's
keep-
favorite.
it
by the
keeps
way.
it. Yeah. I mean, it keeps us away from, well, you guys are friends with them, or that car club's friends with you guys, and you pick 3 of their cars, and it just see you later. Yeah. We don't have to deal with that. So, but I mean, I like our show. I like our types of shows because the hot rod shows. There's not 1,001 classes. Our show has, I think, 12 classes. We hand make our own trophies. They're not plastic trophies with a picture of a car or a model of a car on top.
Yours guys are custom. Yeah.
Yeah,
time.
we make all our trophies are made from car parts or stuff around the garage. The only real award I have was the year that my truck was built. We like smashed it together and brought it to World of Wheels, and I took home, I don't even remember what place it was, but I got a little thing to hang on my wall that says winner.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even know what class I was in.
Winner,
Yeah. I don't even know what class they threw me in. I didn't fill anything out. So
you're the only person in the world that goes up to a car show, has no intentions of doing anything, and then walks away with a trophy and go, I didn't even know what I applied for.
I actually didn't even accept the trophy because I didn't go to the award ceremony. I was like, whatever. And then one of the guys from the club came back. He's like, yeah, this is yours.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Well, we have a Facebook user saying, judging or voting, it's always hard to avoid a popularity contest, no matter the method. And
that's not untrue. That's not untrue.
Yeah,
right. But you can't say it's 100. Like, the thing is I've done contests where I've looked at a car and said, that's not the car I like, but if you make that slip, especially like you were saying in some of the concourse shows we've done, we do those shows. And if it dings the clean, if it matches this, if it does all the things, I've had cars at once. So I think it's really how you run things that kind of works out. But we're going to go backwards the other way. I want the next question that I want everybody to kind of address, and obviously anything in the comments that we see, we can address those as well. And I'm going to start back with Mike on this one, is that what would you like to see added to car shows the most, or something that, that might be difficult to implement that you would like to see implemented? Kind of like this is your dream thing. So go ahead, Mike.
There, this is.
I stumped you, Mike. I didn't think I could do that.
Right. This is dead against what this whole. Honestly, people, there is a very small percentage of people that build their vehicle to a trophy shelf.
Yeah.
So they build it. They don't build the vehicle for that reason. There was one thing that you could take away from car shows. It would be judging. Controversy comes from, people leave the show and they think, now, obviously we win. Like, Vinny talking about World of Wheels, like that's huge, right? You win at World of Wheels. Why you do it? Right. So over the years, the one thing that I pushed in front of me was go out to the Advanced Auto Parts and ask them to put a show in their parking lot on a Saturday for 20 or 30 cars, because that builds what we love. What I love is going down the street and seeing somebody that boulevard I am, and we know that we have a common ground because our cars are both custom. And to me, that's my satisfaction in what I do. But so many question. But I mean,
I'm sorry I put you on the
spot. Maybe when you go around the circle and come back, I might have a better answer.
Right. Yeah. Well, I got another question lined up right afterwards, so you're bumming.
Oh boy.
The real thing is to just keep having car shows. just keep showing $3. And so I want them to see where I got my passion. Why do I sit in my garage every night working on vehicles? That passion, because that's a big deal. That's been most of my life. I'm 46. I've been doing this since I was 19. Yeah. That's it.
Now, here's the other question, because you brought up something very cool that I didn't think we'd go over tonight, and that was something that was the idea of the meet concept versus the show concept. Back in, I want to say 2015, 2016, I had a bunch of friends. They had just some of them had come back into running car shows, and one of the things they said was they took surveys about the people that showed up. They had great contact with the people that showed at their shows. It was really great. And what they did was they said all these people were like, you know what, I don't want to do judge shows. I want to have meet options. And so he had a multi-tier system where he said, if you want to show up to win a trophy, you pay $15 to $20. If you just want to show up and support the event and do the meet part of it, it's only $10. And he ended up getting about 60 to 70% of the people that attended were just on the side for the meet. Did you ever have anything in your history where you said, you know what, we're not doing the shows? Right. So we're not going to do the shows. We're just going to do a meet.
We did. And so where I'm from, I'm in North Carolina, what was called winter cruise tours. And during the winter where everything shut down, and we would ride out, like Myrtle Beach was our big destination. And it was the last one of the year. But let's cruise and hang out. Now, of course, through the years, we did that for 12 or 13 years. We ended up putting a car show there. But to be 100% honest with you, the car show was us to be able to afford to continue doing Drop Job Magazine. So it was really on our part, and it didn't sway the participation we had either way. So listen at how much stress you take off the promoter, the car guy. In your car, man, just show up.
Yeah, right. Know? Exactly. All right. So I'm going to move. Mike, I'm sure we could drill you all night for information. I'm going to say at some point too, we want to have you back. And then maybe we'll have like a little smaller group of people too, so we can kind of pick your brain for a couple of minutes. Like we'll just have guys that their job is to ask you questions. I know you'll love that.
You saw how that went.
Exactly. But anyway, so Chris, what would you want to see added to car shows that would make your life wonderful and make you completely happy?
So just to go back a little, for us, we don't throw car shows. We do barbecues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reason being,
I'm already liking it.
Wait, do we judge the barbecue though?
Yeah. Judging barbecue, absolutely.
And here's the reason why, right? Is that, you have a great experience. You can't fake a great vibe. And when you throw a barbecue and you open up genres of cars and you provide food and music, it's just a great atmosphere, right? But to bring that car show, I guess, a little bit of a vibe to it, we do give out trophies, but we keep it, we do best engine, best paint, furthest travel. Like 6 trophies, and we don't, even though we're
see you soon, John.
Low Rider Car Club. Mm-hmm. Even though we're a Low Rider Car Club, we don't just judge low riders. We really keep it fair and say, all right, well, this guy with the 77 Chevelle or whatever it is has the best engine. This guy has the best paint. But as far as car shows are concerned, if you're competing for points, one thing that I would like to see in a sanctioned car show category would be fit and finish, and that category be judged, first, second, and third place, because I think where a lot of people fall short is in the fit and finish, taking that last hour, that last 2 hours, the extra 15 minutes to get that gap right, that stage perfect. That's something that I don't see. It's judged overall in car shows, right? But like that fit and finish, sometimes you see that car that is just perfect, and sometimes they don't get a trophy because they're not within a certain category. So I'd like to see that be its own category at an actual just car show.
Yeah, and I think that's when you brought up such a great point, and it's something that we've already discussed tonight too, that I think we can't hammer it home enough, is that when it comes to car shows, and this is such a weird dynamic for car shows that I don't think is true of anything else. If you go to a competition where it's a race, it's pretty simple. Whoever comes in first wins. If it's a run, if it's whatever, there's certain things it's very easy for everybody to get to. When it comes to car shows, it's both a person that's promoting, a person that's judging, and then the person that's bringing the car themselves. You could pick the wrong car show, come out in your import Honda show to a concourse show in your your awesome Fast and Furious Honda, and then go, I didn't win anything and I never had a chance. And that's the thing is it's and that's obviously a hyperbolic thing, but to say that, knowing the car show you're going to, knowing what's going to be judged, how you're going to be judged. And I wrote an entire article one time that was just simple, how to win a car show. And one of the first things I wrote on it was clean. That's not hard to say. Like, if you have perfect paint, if you have a ceramic coated car that is glowing and it looks like it's straight off the showroom floor and it's from whatever year, 1950s, 1980s, 1990s, that car is going to have a chance just because it's so much better looking. And then add in something like presentation, and now you're killing it. Like, I've seen guys put the cotton on their tires to make it look like it's smoking. You put the characters in. Basically everything you guys learned from your trunk or treat show, you shouldn't just be doing it that one time. Do it all the time. But it's all little things that people don't think about because they just want to. I built my car. I show up to the show. I'm supposed to win a trophy, and I'm like, you showed up to the wrong show, and then you got a dirty car and nobody cares. But anyway, so I'm going to get to some chats over here real quick. One Facebook user says, I'll take barbecue over trophy any day. We completely agree with you on that.
Yep. No issue with that.
Yeah, I think Chris just introduced a new form of car show. I think Vinny can help you out with that. I've been to the barbecue ones. I know where we're going with this. Go ahead. Yeah, but yeah, totally. This is the new thing. I think it's a great idea. Barbecue trophy events. But anyway, Storage Prospector Junior thinks it's more maturity. Also, he was saying something about, he was complimenting you, Mike, and I think I missed it. Let's see. And then William Grady presentation, which I think is pretty much a given there. So, but yeah, so the next up to last here, Sophie, what do you got for me? See, make Chris, I know he's a hard act to follow, but kill us here. Give us something great.
If you can get cost to come to car shows, I feel like that'd be really cool.
What was it?
Also cosplay, like people dressed up.
Oh yeah, Mad Max show. I'm telling you, you not ever
Mad
gonna
Max
hear
show
me.
would be so good.
Oh, dude,
I'm in.
guys, I'm telling you, the guys in Vegas and the guys out in like Cali that do these like wasteland car shows. Bring it over here, please. But anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead. That's it? Just the cosplay stuff?
Well, something came to mind this year, something that, and I don't know if it's hard to do, like a microphone and speakers, but to like engage with like Shogo, can you guess what vehicle this is and like have an end revving for a prize? But I feel like it'd be like a trivia thing, like guess what car it is based on the rev. I think that'd be kind of a fun.
Wow.
Ooh.
I do like that a lot. And the
That's
funny thing was
bad.
that is actually we do it more on radio, but we've had a couple of radio segments. If Joe Farrow's watching, Joe is the king of he loves that competition. And what he does is he has these sound bites from 4 cylinders, from 6 cylinders. He's got one for the Indy 4-cylinder versus the Indy Turbo. The big was it 454 drag car, and kind of where you're at it, but you still have to guess, and you would be amazed at how difficult it is sometimes. When at 350 drag car, 454, like you'll get part of it, but you won't get all of it. And I really would like to see somebody. My skill, funny enough, is actually being able to tell the octane of gas from the smell. I don't know if I do very well with the sound of the engine thing, but I sure would like to see it at a car show. So, but anyway, okay. So let's see, Facebook user Shiny and Chrome. That's right. Exactly. Witness. Okay. I don't want, I'll get way off in the weeds if we start. And then Storage Fire Swifter, we used to have 501 shows up at Drop Jaw events on the day. So yeah, and last but not least, I gave Joel, you got the floor. I'm sure you'll take all 10 minutes if you need to. So right?
No, I probably will.
No, don't do it. But save some for Vinny.
Nobody wants to hear my voice.
My big thing is that you and I have talked about this before, is like how we have like the separation of genres, and right, we have the tuner group, we have the pre-1970 group, we have the muscle car groups, and you can like go through all the genres. Something that I witnessed at a recent show that was actually it was a memorial show for Brianna Eldridge. And there were a lot of muscle car guys that showed up at that who looked at her car that normally wouldn't have looked at her car. And unfortunately they were looking at it in the perspective of, because it was a memorial event.
Right.
But when there was at least two individuals who came up to me afterwards and said, my God, you have to respect the work that went into that, that passion that she put into that vehicle, kind of thing. So what I would love, like if I had my druthers where NewEnglandAutoShows.com had enough like pre-funding to do like a show, I would love to invite the different genres and force them to judge the other genres.
Ooh.
with an exquisite eye. So in other words, I would love the muscle car group to judge the tuner group and actually almost force them to appreciate the work that goes into that.
Yeah.
And conversely, like the tuner group, I'll be honest with you, they're going to respect whatever group that they're going to judge.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that silly? Because they really are, because they're going to appreciate the old group. They're going to appreciate even the newer groups, kind of thing. But to force like the 1970s guys to actually look at something else besides their genre and force them to judge it and actually pick what they like the most of it. And you're not going to get like 100% participation out of it, but you're going to get at least a couple of guys who are going to go, you know what? I didn't get it at first, but I think maybe I get it now. And there were a lot of guys who like were at Brianna's event that there was at least one individual who said, you know what? If you told me about a Subaru STI, I didn't get it. I didn't get the appeal. But then when I looked at how much care and love that she put into it, I get it now. I think it was kind of like spiritually moving at the time, to kind of witness. And that's something that I would love to see at every car event, is like for people to, even though that's not their thing, but to somehow appreciate, if they're not into lowriders, but all of a sudden they look at this lowrider that is just immaculately done and just go, and that's where you actually have to do the enforcement of, you got to be at your car when you're being judged, because you have to explain your passion.
Exactly.
You have to explain your passion.
Can I add something to that? And I think this is going to be the big, and I think everybody here is gonna get with this. Every car has a story.
And you and I have been saying that for like
too
how
long.
Have we known each other?
Too long. Yeah.
Right. And we were saying it before we even knew each other. Every car has a story, and
there's a person behind it, and that person, if you want to get somebody to appreciate it. So like when I had my car and I looked over and I went to a car show and somebody said, oh, well, what was the deal? Why'd you buy that car? And I said, this was a dedication to my grandfather and all the time that I grew up with his T model and turned wrenches, and he put the love into it and introduced me to this. Yeah. It was something, and this is just an example story. I would beg everybody out there, when you see a car, stop seeing the car, start seeing, go look for that owner and go, hey, I saw your car here. What's the story behind it? Especially, do it to a car you don't like. What made you, what fueled your passion for this car? Why did you get into this, and what made you a car guy or car gal?
And you'll be amazed at the stories that you hear. And I've been going to car shows, my entire life, and the stories that I hear, from the mundane to the complex to the emotional to the
we can't give out trophies based on sacrifice, unfortunately.
You can't, and you can't give out trophies based on familial story or type of thing. You can't do that. But
can't measure passion either.
You can't. But that being said, that's what can bring all the genres together. That's what can bring like those 1970s guys who they look at these kids because they're expecting the kids to absolutely go out, and as soon as they turn 18 they're going to go buy a 1970 GTO. It's not his genre. He didn't grow up with that. He's not whatever. It's not that's not the way it works. It's just not the way it works.
And I'll add something to that too, because I think this is something that you guys will all agree with too. When we started off in the 80s, everybody out there was a car guy. It really was. You had 60s, 70s, and 80s, and nobody liked the 80s cars. So we just kind of said if we had 80s cars, everybody had sympathy for us, and the rest of us.
I would debate that.
But you get the point.
I don't know that we hated them, but
But it's a joke to it. Everybody had that thing of we had our comedy to it. But that was the thing is we were all car people. That was it. That was you got the stamp, and once you were the stamp, you were in. Then as we went into the 90s, it became suddenly. Are you an import tuner guy? Are you a muscle car guy? Are you a tuner guy? Are you all these different genres? And now we have so many genres and so many separations and all this differentiation. And it's come to the point of where people really do have car shows that are specifically catered to. Now we got these many little areas like VIP, which few people do I know can actually tell me what a VIP is and get it halfway right. Nobody knows what executive is. You can probably tell. That's the thing is now people have a hard time differentiating between it's a hot rod or a low rider or what I mean? Like these little genres that we have that go together, and some of them meld really well and they have good communities that support each other. But others, it becomes now it's fully separated. And that's the thing is we'll go to shows and go, how do we get back together? And fight together, and that's the golden question. So
unfortunately, it's a little bit of I think it's a little bit of an age gap, right?
That's true.
It's a generational gap type thing, and I get it. I mean, there is certainly that, but again, I think you hit the nail right on the head, and we've been saying it for years that if you can get that judged situation where somebody who's normally gonna really judge hard like the example I gave of a 1970 GTO and force him to talk to the person who owns his whether it be an STI or her Mini or whatever, and the passion that's behind the ownership to tell that story. And I think the story is always important. Is it important for the judging? No, but I think it's also important for the bringing and bridging the gap between all of the car genres.
So I'm because we're getting close to the end here. I want to make sure that Vinny, do you have anything you said before you're like, I'm not sure about adding something, but I did want to give you.
I gave him a little time.
We went off on the weeds here, but go ahead if you have anything.
Well, no, I do. I mean, to talking about bridging that gap and everything. I mean, Alan hit it. I mean,
Joel.
Joel. Yeah, sorry, Joel. Perfect way to do it. But the problem is, I mean, and my show is, or I shouldn't say my show, our show is one of them, where we're age capped. Our show is 1970 and under, and that's it. But I mean, that being said, I do take my truck to what I can, and I don't care what years are there. I'll park next to a Honda Civic. I'll park next to a Subaru. I don't care. I'll park next to anything.
I've seen you do it, yeah.
And then
I've seen you.
But
I've seen it,
that's not to say what should be added to car shows is stuff for kids. Make it family friendly. Instead of the kids just hanging out with their parents' car or playing in their parents' car or whoever is there with them. I mean, our show, we get the kids involved. We have valve cover races. They turn valve covers into like a Pinewood Derby car, and they shoot it down a track, and then they can win first, second, third prize, which is a little trophy that usually I make. But yeah, get kids involved. It doesn't matter what kind of car show it is. Just have something there, not just a bouncy house for them to jump around in, or a section of dance floor for them to waste some energy on. Like, actually get them doing something for the car community.
Can I add to that? I think if I could get a committal from every single car owner to suspend that do not touch moment of doing that supervised, like
supervised. Yeah, that's
I can't tell you how many times. Like,
Don't just leave it open.
Myself and my buddy Jason Parker, he and I have like we do this contest of like how many kids can we get to sit in in our car, and I just have a 95 Corvette. It's nothing special. But when a kid walks up to it and kind of, he kind of goes, and then you go, hey, you want to sit in it? All of a sudden it's like
100%. I do that with my car.
Like, oh, you want me to sit in it? And then I have them like turn the light and make the lights go up. And they're like, dude, I just want a kid. It's.
I'll do it even at Dunkin' Donuts. I'll be talking. Somebody will come up to me and say, "Hey, that's a nice truck," and then their kids like kind of standing behind them or whatever. I'll open the door. Get in. I don't care.
Yeah. One of the Facebook users, don't tell Sophia you're going to let a kid touch her car.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean that car?
That car right there. Holy cow.
Yeah, don't touch.
Don't touch.
No touch.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we have unfortunately come to the end of the hour, and I hate closing it out because it seems like we have 2 minutes of airtime with it. Everybody gave us some great input. Those in the comments, you guys, thank you for being involved with it, giving us the great input that you have. It is awesome to have a great comments board for everybody to roll into. Like I said, it's you never have enough time. So, but what I'm going to do tonight is I first want to thank all the people that came out tonight. So Vinny of Life in the Passenger Seat, Alan Price, Mike Pellegrin from Rebound Auto Show. By the way, Reggie is saying thank you so much. It took him forever to beg you to come to the show, and we'd love to have you at any time. Feel free to come out. Chris from Ruined Car Club, Sophia with her 2014 Challenger, right?
Yes.
Or should I said what is it? Harley Quinn. No? Okay, I tried that. I thought that worked. And then Joel Chappell of NewEnglandAutoShows.com. And as always, thank Reggie for putting together the great club of people.
Don't forget Control Freak.
I don't Control Freak. I haven't ended the
I'm sorry.
My producer is getting all over me. Okay. You know what? I've already promoted you to producer. It's that the thing is you're my video guy. You got to come here every week now. You don't get to complain anymore.
It's funny. He hit me. He's like, "You're going to be on tonight, right?"
Right. I'm like, "You're on tonight. I need somebody to roll a video for me." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm waiting for the thing." What was the line you said in the?
I said Red 5 standing by.
Red 5 standing by. Okay. But anyway, and like I said, thanks Reggie for putting everything together and get us a great great panel for today. And as always, I'm your host Primo. Remember, this is the ECS Hangout. It is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Do not miss it. If you want to be a guest, come in early. The earlier you are, the better we can secure a spot for you and test the mic connectivity and that kind of stuff. But you remember, you can see us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, ecsmagazine.com. And as always, we're sponsored by Control Freak, controlfreakcompany.com. This is the place where we talk about all things automotive. Next week, we'll be back with another awesome topic with another awesome panel. Hopefully some of the panel members here will be back. Right, Joel? And then, as always, all you guys are great in the comments. It has been great hanging out with you. I'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is your host, Primo. We're signing off tonight. Everybody, keep rolling. Have a good one.
Yeah.